Okay, cool. Well, before we officially get going, so I was just doing some reflecting on last week, and I think what I really want to do as much as possible, I know that we like to joke around a ton, but psychology topics can be deep and they can be meaningful, or we can like easily brush them off as um, a joke or, like whatever, I'll think about that later. But I really want these discussions to be a time for us to really truly think deeply and be honest with ourselves. So, as an example, like earlier today, I was saying to Anthony that in all honesty, like if I'm really truly honest with myself, I shouldn't have traded today. I managed my risk really well, but in all honesty, like there's 4 great trading days ahead of us. There was no reason for me to push it. So I kind of want to carry that through to this discussion and just be like really, yes, of course we can joke around and be silly, but I would like to keep on topic and keep really focused. So if you guys happen to have your screens up, looking at the chart right now, I would ask that you maybe just like minimize it, don't have it in front of you. Um, and just keep focused as much as possible as we talk about this because I want these discussions to be about us really truly like growing and getting better as traders and getting closer and closer to true professionalism, consistency with our trading, being consistently profitable, trying to keep ourselves out of really the fight, flight, or flee, flight, flight, or freeze zones as much as possible. So, um, yeah, so that's that. Are you ready to roll? Okay, perfect. So, what we're going to talk about today is something called the SCARF model. And the SCARF model ties to that fight, flight, or freeze, but a big majority of it ties to our identity as traders, which is why I don't know if any of you saw the post or the comment that Anthony Oxano put in the motivation channel, but it was something from Werline that he put in there about identity and how we make trading so much more um, a piece of our identity rather than trying to separate ourselves and almost like manage ourselves as a robot with detachment. I shouldn't say as a robot because there will always be emotions tied to trading. But what I wanted to do is introduce you all to this thing called the SCARF model. And it is actually the model itself is meant for something else, but I think it really does have application to trading because it's so closely tied to neuroscience. So, what I'm going to do is, as I talk about it, I'm going to just quickly tell you what it stands for because it's an acronym, and I'll type it in the comments. But then, what we'll do is we can all, as a group, just kind of contribute in chat and talk it through and how it might affect us as we're trading. So, the S stands for status, the C stands for certainty, the A stands for autonomy. Let's see how quickly I can do all this. The R stands for relatedness, and the F stands for fairness. Makes sense to everyone? What those all stand for? So, as we talk about it, cool, thanks, guys. As we talk about it, I want you to think about like your identity as a trader and the things that can trigger you because your identity is so tied up in either one or many of these things. Because I think that they can be applicable to different people in different ways. And we can talk through them. So let's first focus on the one that is status. So, status is oftentimes about like how you are seen by others. So, are you seen as a successful trader? Um, to outsiders who don't even trade, are you seen as a moneymaker in trading? Um, yeah, think about how many times people have said like, "So how's that trading going for you, huh?" Or something like that. And you always want to be like, "Oh, it's going so good," because your identity is tied up in status and how you're seen by others. And that's oftentimes where ego gets in the way, when we let our ego get tied to trading and like being right. I want to be right because I want people to see that I'm successful in trading and that I know how to call the market. Like, does that make sense to you guys? What status, kind of what that encompasses and how that could potentially be a trigger? Yeah, Bert, I'm sure. Yeah, win rate, title, payout number, ego. Yeah, totally, 100%. Exactly, Vert. Like we tell people that we're so successful, but maybe we had like a super red week or a super red day or tilted or whatever. But we want that recognition from other people. And so that can get tied up into our trading identity, which then translates into how we trade. Do we have a moment of fight, flight, or freeze because we're so tied up in that status? Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to go through all of them and then I want you guys just to be like, as I'm talking these through, I just want you to be thinking about like some of them just maybe like a full on one that like fully resonates with you, and some of them might not resonate at all. So I'll just keep going through. So the next one is certainty. Uncertainty is like knowing an outcome of something or like not being able to operate in the gray very well. So when something doesn't happen for sure, that can put you into that fight, flight, or freeze. So you like things that are predictable, or you like things that can consistently happen over and over and over. And in trading, I think that one often comes like how many people, I think there are very few that are the exception, went through so many different models of trading, or like went through retail and EMAs and SMAs and support and resistance, or they tried options and that didn't work. But then I think a lot of us land on IFVGs. I think that's how a lot of us came together because it felt more certain. So it felt like it was more predictable. It had a higher win rate than some other models that we were used to. So it felt like something that we could rely on a little bit more than others. Um, so certainty can be one where if things are uncertain, and think about this on days like today, where we were certain of plays and plays that would have worked out on any other day did not happen. And so that could easily put someone into a fight, flight, or freeze because it was unpredictable market. We thought that we knew, but the plays went the other direction. And so that certainty gets rocked. It puts you off kilter, if you will. So that one's certainty. Then there's autonomy. So autonomy, when I think about it as it's related to trading, is can I do this on my own? Am I able to do this without relying on someone else? So I certainly was a signal bot when I first started joining other servers, and I had to wean myself off of some of those live streams and eventually become my own trader. And when I felt myself failing, I felt like I had to go back. Oh, it must be because I'm not following that person anymore, or I'm not going to as many live streams. But there's also a sense of empowerment with autonomy of I can do this. I can absolutely do this on my own. I don't have to listen to a boss. And if someone comes in and says to me, well, you have to do it this way. Oh, you're an ICT trader? You don't know what you're doing. Then we feel like that autonomy is put in question. And so we feel like we have to fight against it. So those are, those can be triggers for that autonomy while we're trading, is feeling like someone else is imposing maybe an idea that we don't agree with. So if you're back testing and whoever it is that's back testing, you're like, I don't agree with that. Your autonomy is in question because you want them to take your trade because you want to be autonomous from that person. So that can be a trigger for people. The next one is relatedness. And relatedness is tied to the community that you're a part of. I believe in trading. This is what I tie it to. Is do you feel like you have a sense of community and belonging? And when you don't take a trade that they trade, does that trigger FOMO in you? Does it trigger you don't agree with them and now you're not besties anymore? Is it that you don't even feel like you're part of a community. And so part of your identity is just being this lone wolf. Um, we've had a lot of people that have joined up in all the different servers that I'm a part of that it's like, I finally found my community. Or a lot of people will say, like, trading is so lonely. And it is. It's very, very, very lonely for a lot of people. So if relatedness is something for you that you value, then that that belonging or that community aspect of trading is going to be more important for you when you're, yeah, when you're kind of trading as an identity for you. And then the last one is fairness. And I think this one is also related to the others in that, or related a lot more closely to certainty. But it's like, was that fair? So if a trade goes against you and your sense of justice is triggered, you can get that fight, flight, or freeze when your sense of justice is um when you feel like that's unlocked for you. Like, what the F? Like, no, that's not fair. Like, that should have worked. That totally should have worked. Or the fairness. So like I actually get in my identity, just admittedly, I get triggered when I think of Dodgy and I couldn't even watch the video when he's talking about being rich. And so like now what does he do? Or he posted it in his comment, or he posted it in his server, and I was like, that's not fair. Like, I'm working just as hard as he is, and that's it, like his big person problems. Like like he's talking about how he's making millions, and so like I get triggered on the fairness thing of like, he's young, he's like found his like, and now he's complaining about this. And so that's a trigger for me. So then when I get on the charts and I'm like, well, if he could do it, then I can do it. So like just trying to find the things that are that are the most valued to you while you're trading can put your psychology into either a positive place or a place where you're triggered into that amygdala hijack, which is that fight, flight, or freeze. So if any of those, I don't want to say values, but we'll just call them that. If any of those are triggered while you're trading, then it's easier for you to have FOMO, revenge trade, greed, have some greed. So like if status is a big thing, you can overtrade and just keep on trading and be greedy. So now that I've kind of talked all of those through, I'll ask you guys to maybe just kind of like, what do you think out of the scarf model? What do you think are the top two that you may, let's say, fall prey to on the days when you get triggered? What are your top two? And you can just write it in the comments. Just take a few moments and reflect and think about what it might be for you. Status and relatedness. Yep. Yep. Certainty and fairness. Tony, thank you. Status and autonomy. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. I'm going to go on mute. Do you want to talk about? Not yet. Okay. All right, cool. Status, vert. Yeah, cool. My mine for sure are status and autonomy. And status for me is like um not so much about others. It's That's not true. It's not status. Status is not my thing. Autonomy is number one, meaning like I want to be my own boss. I want to make my own decisions. I want to be able to trade on my own and trade the way that I want to and not be questioned about it. I think it's more so that um I think relatedness was huge for me because I needed a community. Um, and I tied up my identity quite a lot with being one of Dodgy's mods. Um, in that I felt like I had to be in every single live stream, and yet I wanted autonomy. I needed to make sure that everyone was behaving, and yet like I didn't want to be seen as the bad guy. Like, and then that would affect my trading quite a lot because I couldn't focus on the charts. And then I would be pissed, and then I would start over trading or not looking at trades in the right way, because I would just try to hop in. And so like also with autonomy, like I just I really just want to make trading work for the long term. I don't want it to be I don't want it to be a fallback career. I want it to be the career. And right now it's the fallback career because I'm just not fully consistent enough to make it like 100% where I'm not trying to like find leadership development gigs. So, yeah, yep, yep. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna start with you, and then I'm gonna go through others and ask. So, for you specifically, why did you choose status and relatedness?
Okay. So for me, I chose status, uh, because I'm not gonna lie, being like a quote unquote analyst in the dungeon, and then like trying to have my own server going where it's just a community, and then also like putting all the stuff that I do and all the things I go through like on YouTube and stuff. Sometimes like I know I always say that I have no problem like being open and vulnerable and stuff, but like in the moment, especially on the charts, um like that whole status thing does get in my head sometimes because I'm like, oh, I like just for a small example, sometimes I really, 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 really want to take trades that aren't IFVGs, but I don't because I like feel like I'm like not supposed to. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm like, oh well, I trade IFVGs, so that's all I can trade. And then so I like see some setups that I'm like, dude, I could get in right here and this is gonna work, but I don't. And then so then I freeze up, um, and then I do nothing, right? And then I don't take anything, and then that spills over into the relatedness because now everybody's taking all these trades, and I'm like, oh well, I haven't taken anything.
Like my whole community is taking the
Yeah,
same
like my whole community's taking trades. You know, the other analysts are taking trades, and I'm like, oh, I'm flat, I'm flat, I'm flat, I'm flat. And like, I just talked to Amy about this earlier today, but I was coming up with every excuse in the book for a while. But the real reason was actually what we're talking about right now. And it's like that issue with status like affecting me and relatedness affecting me because I mean, I've shared most of my story with a lot of you guys, and like being like fresh out of starting my life kind of over, like a big part of me is really desperate to have that relatedness in something. And like, why wouldn't I want that to come from trading? Because like, I love it so much. And so, like, the status and the relatedness is definitely the biggest two on that list for me.
like trying to prove yourself
Yeah,
and
like trying to
being
prove myself, but when nobody cares.
yeah, yeah,
Like at the end of the day, nobody cares, you know? Like it's just you make yourself come up with these things that matter that don't
yeah, 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 yeah,
because of like the feelings you get from those things. It's so weird.
yeah,
And
for
like
sure.
and I have notes written down on each one of these. Um but since I am talking about status right now, I will put that the win rate, title, payout number, ego, and then I put like so those are examples, right? But then what does it lead to? And I put affect the way I execute slash keep my discipline because like if you're worried about status and you take a loss, I feel like it's easy to get mad,
Yeah.
right? Because you're like, I'm not supposed to lose.
Yep.
Like, I'm not supposed to take a losing play. What the heck? No one else did. Or, then you start doing that comparison thing.
How does it look to others?
Yeah,
Without fail.
exactly. Like, and so, and I can't lie, that, wow, I can't believe that this is about to get vulnerable as hell. That is a big part of why I end up not streaming some days,
Mm. What do you mean?
is because I'm in my head pressuring myself like something, like I'm supposed to provide. Like, if I don't take a play in front of everybody, that's a winner, then it was like nobody's going to watch anymore. Like that kind of stuff. And so, like, I'm like pressuring my shit before I even get on here.
Yep.
And then I'm like, well, I mean, to deal with that, maybe I just won't stream then. You know what I mean? Then nobody knows.
Yep.
And if I take a play, I'll post about it, or like, if I freeze up and don't take it, no one will know because no one saw it. And so, just like an example today, like trading live, I was like, you know what, you guys, I really don't even care. Like, I'm gonna just trade my fundeds right here on the screen because, like, I need to just get over that shit. Like, I need to get over that feeling. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, we're all just here to get better, and it doesn't matter. Like, the outcome of the trade is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, those are the ones that get me the most.
Yeah. So I think to that point, the first part of this is understanding like where your identity is most wrapped up into. Thank you for mentioning that. Um, so like once you know the parts of your identity that are wrapped up and triggered within trading, then over time it becomes easier to be able to break those down because you recognize it in the moment. Like, hey, my status is being triggered right now. Like, the more vulnerability and awareness, self awareness that you have in the moment of trading, that you realize that those triggers are happening, the easier it's going to be to overcome it. And as Werline was talking about, like being able to almost kind of unattach from it or disassociate with in a healthier way. So um, now let me just go back. So for those of you that are still here, um, now that you guys have written down the two that were the ones that stuck out to you the most, can you just kind of write out why? Like why specifically were those the ones that stuck out for you? And how do you see those playing out on a day-to-day basis? And maybe it's not day-to-day, maybe it's just weekly, maybe they aren't triggered very often, but like Tony, why did certainty and fairness stick out to you? Or Ryan, why did status and autonomy stick out to you? So if you guys could just take a few minutes and just kind of write those out, that'd be great. Let me go on mute because
You guys, this is so fire. I can't lie. Like, this is really, really good. I love that we're doing this right now. Dude, because listen, the more open and vulnerable you can be, the less pressure you have on yourself that no one can see. Like, man, telling you guys all that stuff, it just made me feel like, well, now next time I'm not going to care as much. Like, I'm not going to think about it as much because I just was honest about it, and who cares now? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like having these conversations is really good because it just helps with the awareness, and then it helps you grow past things, or figure out how to deal with things that you might not have known before.
okay, keep typing out.
Basically, for the two people that picked, or for the people that picked the two values that affect them the most, why did you choose those two?
Yeah, Tony, that's so valid. Such a good one. Yeah, it can feel like it's so unfair that you've been trying this. Someone else is successful. They're younger. I don't know if they're younger than you, but like more successful. They have it dialed in for sure. Yep. 100%. 16 different mentors and courses. Holy. Yep, I could see why that would be the case then, for sure. Absolute. Yeah, and so wanting to have a little bit of certainty once you find a mentor and you're thrown into this disarray over years of trying to learn. Yeah, that's a lot. I feel that. All right. Well, while Vert is typing, if he's still typing, thank you, Tony, for kind of chatting up and mentioning that. So, oh, they both just popped up all at once. DMs, and I help a lot of people, but I always feel not valid in my status to help people until I get 10K payouts on your. Yeah, they've gotten payouts, but not the life changing one. Totally. So, backtest sessions, answer DMs, people asking me things, but part of me feels like, what validity do I have to answer because I haven't really made it? Totally. Totally. That's so hard. It's, man, that one's really rough because it's like trying to help people understand that everyone trades their own specific way. Oh man, I get it. I get it. Um, Ryan, yeah, my friends recently see me trade and it's like, hey, how much do you have? You must be printing shitloads. Totally. If you lose, it triggers that you need to get it back. Uh huh. Uh huh. If I tell them I lose, they'll be like, yeah, you're such a loser. Totally. Yep. Before anyone found out you were doing great. Oh my gosh. I get that. Yep. 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 Shut up, Bert. Yeah, we put so much pressure on ourselves just in general. Like trading is hard, and then we are piling on top of it because we're tying this identity piece up with it. So, what I guess what I would like to do is, I like to give homework for people of things to think about for the rest of this week. Um, in this week, what I would like for you guys to do is think about, like, when you're trading, write down some of those things that you're telling yourself in the moment. So while you're trading, before you take the trade, during the trade, after the trade, and see if you can fit any of those into the SCARF model. So think about your thoughts, write down your thoughts before, during, and after the trade. Are you seeing any of those triggers? So is your status being triggered? Is your certainty being triggered? Is your autonomy being triggered? And then with that is, how is it being triggered? So are you experiencing FOMO? Are you experiencing imposter syndrome, which we're going to talk about next week? Are you being triggered by um you're being greedy because you want to prove to people that you're successful? So think about which one is being triggered and then how it's being triggered. So, like, what is the behavior that you are showing because it has been triggered? Or what are the thoughts and things that you're thinking about because that's been triggered? And then, as we dive into over the next few weeks, as we dive into each kind of different um, thing for us, different behaviors, so imposter syndrome, greed, FOMO, whatever it might be, we're going to talk about how that ties back to this identity piece and the fight, flight, and freeze that we experience during those moments. So we're going to dig into that a little bit more. Does all of this make sense to everyone? Like, is it landing for you? Is it making sense on how this can tie into your psychology and how it can affect your trading and help it to eventually we will get to the, like, how do we overcome some of these things? But I at least just want to, like, introduce this stuff in, like, small digestible bites before we start to dive into some more kind of tangible solutions on things. But cool. Perfect. Good, 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 good. Uh, Did you happen to type out what I said as homework? I think I've got an idea, but I started rambling and I should have. And we'll put that in the psychology discussion topics or in the psychology section somewhere in that channel so that people who um, want to participate, they can do that. We can clean it up later too. Typing because I talk a lot. Sorry.
No, I had notes written down, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll copy and paste." I copied it to type the one,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then I went up here and copied the 5 values after I had already deleted this. So I
Got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah, unfortunately, but I can put it in there. Okay.
I think I just deleted it again.
Okay.
What's the shortcut to undo?
Is it Control U? What's the shortcut to undo? Do you guys know? Well, we can type it in. We'll type it in the psychology section.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that worked.
Let's
That worked,
go.
Nate. Thank you. Cool. Do you want to unmute yourself in case there's anything that you want to say and wrap things up? Cool. So while he's doing the admin work that I should be doing because I didn't beforehand, um, so we'll put the homework into the psychology channel for you all to look over, and then we'll actually next week when we do our next session, we'll do just like a quick debrief and see how everyone did for the week. And if you have any questions on the SCARF model, or if you feel like throughout the week something is being triggered, definitely throw that just into our discussion so that we can talk about it. And appreciate you all joining. I know typing and being vulnerable in front of a group can be tough to do, but the more that you can do it and the more that you can kind of work through it with a group where we're all experiencing it, then the better off that we will all be as traders as we learn from ourselves and from others. So thank y'all for joining. I'm gonna mute myself. You unmute.
Dang. Well, that was a whole bunch of quality in a short amount of time. So that was awesome. Man, what are the odds that we were almost talking about this outside and I didn't know?
Exactly. I was like,
That's
"Stop
great.
talking."
She's like, shut up. Very awesome. Yeah, that was great. Seriously, like, I look forward to these. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
a
good.
lot. Cool.